Talking wrestling around the world. This is Third League.
This is Third League Radio, rock and wrestling radio. Well, we played the rock, so now we got to talk wrestling. And, well, we have got a very special guest on the line. She is Tessa Blanchard. Welcome into the program.
Thank you so much for having me. What an honor to be here.
All right, thank you so much. So I've got to just kind of jump off with an introduction in case people don't know you. But you are, well, the daughter of Tully Blanchard, your stepdad, Magnum TA. You kind of grew up in wrestling. You can't really get more grown up in wrestling than that.
That's right. Third generation. My grandpa, my dad, my stepdad. My grandpa ran Southwest Championship Wrestling back in the territory days, so it means a lot that TNA Wrestling is now going to San Antonio this next week after our pay-per-view at Genesis this Sunday.
Very cool, very cool. So, I was going to kind of talk to you about that. You are just now back with TNA. You were a former Knockout champion, a former TNA World Champion. How's it been being back?
Honestly, it's been quite a hot minute since I've been back. And I've only been back for a short time. This will be my first match back with the company this Sunday at the Curtis Colwell Center in Dallas, Texas. Right. But I'm looking forward to it. You know, I wanted to come back. I wanted to make a statement. I wanted to send a message. And who better to do that with than the top dog of the company, Jordynne Grace. So this Sunday is gearing up to be an all-out war.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about meeting up with Jordynne Grace here at Genesis this Sunday. Have you faced her before? I mean, maybe not in TNA, but in other places. And, I mean, what are you thinking about that match?
Oh, Jordynne and I have had countless battles. She was a different Jordynne Grace then. I was a different Tessa Blanchard then. We've had fights on the independent circuit. We've had fights in Impact Wrestling. This will be our first fight in many, many years. But I'm looking forward to it. When I left Impact Wrestling, I was on top of the mountain. I was untouchable, and I knew it. And when I left, it kind of left a hole or a space for someone to take the ball and run with it. And that's what Jordynne Grace did. She transformed her body. She transformed her work. She's the athlete that's on the mouths of every company and every country, every fan. But I'm back, and I want my ball back. So this Sunday, her and I are going to face each other. We've got a lot of similarities, but we've also got a lot of differences. And this Sunday, we're gonna duke them out.
Yeah, we'll come back to TNA Genesis here in just a little bit. But as we're talking, Jordynne Grace, of course, she has had matches in NXT, and with the recent announcement of the partnership between TNA, NXT, WWE, have you had any time to even process maybe what that means for the future with you and others in the Knockouts division?
Sure, I think that a lot of people are talking about it. A lot of people are excited about it. It kind of blew up the internet within the past couple of days. And not only is it a great thing for TNA Wrestling, but it's a great thing for WWE and their NXT brand. They've got a lot of great talent, but so do we. And I think the possibilities are just endless right now. You don't really know what you're going to see when you turn on your TV on a Thursday night Impact TNA Plus special, or one of our paid live events, or on a Monday Night Raw or a SmackDown or a Royal Rumble. You just don't know. And so to see these familiar faces from other brands pop up in places that you wouldn't expect, it's a great time to be a part of the professional wrestling world, to be a part of TNA Wrestling, and to be a part of WWE as well.
Now, this is going to be really just a question for me. I have been a fan of women's wrestling for a long time, even before the women's revolution, as it were. One of my favorites back in the day, a woman named Sarah Del Rey. I'm just kind of, did you watch any Death Ray matches? Did you take anything from people like Sarah?
Oh, Sarah Del Rey, she's phenomenal. I'm a huge Sarah Del Rey fan. Back when I was in the first ever Mae Young Classic, we main evented night one, myself versus Kairi Sane. Our agent was Sarah Del Rey.
Nice.
So I've had a few interactions with her. I'm not only a fan of her work, but a fan of the person that she is. I think that she's just phenomenal in and out of the ring. Cross my fingers that one day we'll get to work together again, maybe even under the TNA brand.
That would be very cool. I would love to see that. But since this is the Rock and Wrestling Radio Show, what's your favorite rock band? Do you have a favorite rock band?
I listen to all different types of music, but more recently I've been really into like banda music from Mexico and corridos. I listen to a lot of Peso Pluma, but once in a while I'll listen to some country music, some rock music, some rap music. I really don't have one style that I listen to. What were you said that you guys were playing some rock music before I hopped on. What were you guys jamming out to?
Well, we just kind of go through everything, but I think the song right before you got on was a song from a band called, it was a song called Run from a band called Plush. I really do like that. You should go check them out. You might enjoy them. But
you're going to have us in studio sometime and we'll all jam out together.
There you go. I'll take you up on that. But yeah, with your taste, I know I got a friend who, you and her might vibe together with your musical taste. But I don't know, back into wrestling, I just kind of, this is another question for me. I mean, maybe it's going to be the same for you, knowing how you grew up and everything, but I love to hear stories because I cannot really remember how I got into wrestling. I mean, I'm 42 years old. Some of my first memories are wrestling, so I've watched wrestling for maybe 40 years that I know of. I can't tell you what got me into it, so I'm just kind of wondering what got you into wrestling. Probably the obvious, your dad, your family, all that, but just what got you into wrestling?
It's probably a story that we're going to have to sit down and go to Outback Steakhouse and talk about for a good hour. But long story short was, I guess the inspiration from my dad, my stepdad, my grandfather, and wanting to carry on that Blanchard name, but also create my own legacy at the same time in a way that was unique to me, but also unique to the business. And I didn't really know what that looked like at the beginning. I was training in Charlotte, North Carolina, under George South and Cedric Alexander, and I would drive all up and down the East Coast, the Mid-East, just looking for opportunities, not trying to rely solely on my name, but really earning everything that came my way. And I just fell in love with it. I became addicted to it, and with that came successes and opportunities and seizing every moment that I could. And before I knew it, I was wrestling in China, I was wrestling in Mexico, I was wrestling in Australia and Austria and the UK and in Japan, and I was in over 9 countries before I knew it, before the age of like 22. And I knew that I wanted to travel, I knew that I wanted to see the world, but I knew I wanted to find success in this business, and I wanted to learn every style. I wanted to become the most versatile athlete possible, so that way, no matter who I was in the ring with, I could go in there and just give my all. And outperform everyone if it's possible. And that's kind of how I got my start.
Very cool, very cool. I like to hear that. I've only got a couple more questions and I'll let you get out of here, but I wonder what it was like not only becoming TNA Knockouts champion, but becoming TNA World Champion, having them give you that, having that trust given to you, I guess. Winning the TNA Knockouts Championship, that was a goal of mine, because anytime you hold a championship in a company, you're the face of that company. There's a lot of trust held in you. There's a lot of expectations. There's a lot of weight on your shoulders. But I had always been ready for it because I believed in myself for it. When I won the World Heavyweight Championship, it was the end of an 8-month program with Sami Callihan, who's a phenomenal talent. And again, it was a lot of pressure, but I was ready for it. And that pressure, I always say pressure makes diamonds, and that's exactly what I am. Is that I'm a diamond in this business, and I always believed in myself for it. TNA has always believed in me to perform on that level. So they gave me the ball, and I took off. Well, all right. Before we get into TNA Genesis one final time, I'd like to know some of your favorite opponents, or maybe some people that you haven't got to work with that you would love to work with. I know we mentioned Sarah a little bit earlier.
Sure, and that would be a great one. Another one I have is probably Serena Deeb. She's phenomenal. I've really enjoyed my matches with Ethan Page, Brian Cage, Rich Swann, The Rascals, Josh Alexander, Eddie Edwards, a lot of the guys from TNA Wrestling, Jake Chris even. A lot of the females, Jordynne Grace and I always go out there and kill it, aside from our differences. With this new partnership with WWE, it would be really cool to see the match that that fans have been talking about for upwards of 11 years. A Flair versus a Blanchard once more.
That's kind of what I was getting at. I didn't want to come out and say it.
But it has. It's been something that's been talked about for over 11 years. And to see that happen in some capacity would probably be something historical.
Very cool. So we're bringing it back. TNA Genesis. That's going to be this Sunday out at the Curtis Colwell Center in Garland. You, Jordynne Grace, you're going to tear the house down.
Hey, you can count on that.
All right. Hey, Tessa, thank you so much for your time here today, and we'll see you on Sunday.
Awesome. Thank you so much.